All right, in this lesson, we are going to be learning about one of the things that is central to all of algebra, and that is using order of operations, or if you want to sound really cool, call it order of ops. All right, that's what we're going to be doing in this lesson. Now, why do we need order of ops? I'm sorry, order of operations. It's because without it, there's different methods of working problems. So I want you to just take a look at how we work this problem. 2 times 3 squared divided by 6. I could simplify that to 2 times 9 divided by 6, 18 divided by 6, or 3, okay? So if you follow the math there, it makes sense. What about this method, though? Isn't this equally viable? 2 times 3 squared divided by 6 could be 2 times 3 squared divided by 6. Which could simplify to 6 squared over 6, or 36 over 6, which simplifies to 6. But wait a second, I started with the same numbers. So how could I end with different values? And the trick is the order of operations. All right, so here it is. Notice the second step here. I simplified 3 squared first in method 1. Method 2, I multiplied 2 times 3 before I squared it. And if you think about what happens when you square things, how you multiply by that same number twice, it's going to make a big difference if I'm squaring 3 or if I'm squaring 6. And that's what leads to the difference in results here. So we need a standard method for evaluating problems. And we all just kind of agree on this is the order that we're going to do things when we evaluate problems. So when we write things out in certain notation, you know that the way that we write it, it's meant to be worked a certain way. And that's what order of operations is. Now, order of operations is something that mathematicians got together and defined so that we had a standard way of writing out problems so that they always work out the same way and we don't run into this disaster. Here's what order of operations is. We're going to start. The first operation you do when you're working a problem is work inside the grouping symbols. Grouping symbols now is a very general term. It could mean parentheses, brackets. A grouping symbol could be a long division sign. Notice that I'm going to work what's on top of the division sign first and then what's on bottom of the division sign separately. But that's going to be the first thing that I do is either side of the division sign. So the division sign is one of the grouping symbols. And then our next lesson is going to be about absolute values. The absolute value symbol is also a grouping symbol. So there's different grouping symbols that we use. Anything that groups different expressions together, we have to work grouped expressions first. Next, we need to simplify powers and roots. Okay, so especially exponents, okay, we need to do that next. Roots are just a variation of exponents. All right, and then next, we're going to multiply and divide from left to right. Important to note that multiplication and division receive the same priority level. So you just do whatever comes first from left to right. If it's a multiplication, you do that first. If it's a division, you do that first from left to right. And then lastly, we add and subtract from left to right. Now, you might be familiar with the tool for remembering this. Maybe you've heard of please excuse my dear aunt. And then it kind of depends on where you're from. I always learned Sally, but I've kind of been told that it might be Sarah. But anyway, parentheses or grouping symbols is the first thing you work. Exponents or roots is the next thing you do. Multiplication and division get the same priority, but those are going to be the next thing. Oh no, not my bear. Yeah, that's bad. Okay. Why can't I do this? I'm just trying to make it bold. There we go. And then addition and subtraction are the last thing you do. They have the same priority as each other. You just do them from left to right. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally or Sarah. Okay, so that's it. I'm not going to talk more about order of operations because this is best shown in the practice of it. So we're going to practice with order of operations next in just a moment. Stay tuned for the next video.